Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to the shed of many names on this late evening. It is definitely cool in here. So, yeah, I'm ready to get the canner up and rolling. Now, this evening, I'm doing some late night rebel canning. Ooh. I'm making a Spanish style chicken stew. It's more Spanish in, inspired. It's not an exact recipe. I'm a rebel canner. I know what to do and what not to do. And tonight we'll be doing pressure canning because I'm using chicken. Now, with that being said, let's get busy because I've done a lot of dicing, chopping, slicing, and all that fun stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it mixed together. It is plenty cold enough in here for it to be fine. I'm going to mix it together, make some room, and then get the jars out here. And we're going to do some Spanish inspired chicken stew. Okay, with that being said, I was blessed with a bunch of dark meat chicken. I oven roasted it for a little bit, pulled it off. It is cool. And it's about 8 cups. I do big batches, y'all, because I put back food to sustain us. Alright, this is about 8 cups of shredded chicken. I was blessed with dark meat. That's what I'm using. If you want to use 8 cups of shredded chicken breast, you can do that. And you can cut this recipe down by half as well. So, and here I have 4 cups of large diced strong yellow onions. These have been in storage for a while. I would use more, but one of my other ingredients has more onions in it. So, now this is a 1 pound package of sliced baby bella mushrooms that I have just chopped up a little smaller, because some of those slices were huge. Alright, let's move that over here, because let me tell you, space is becoming a jungle in the shed. I've got to get organized again. Alright, I want to mix that real good. It's smelling good already. Now, I'm not going to season this mix. I'm going to put my seasoning into the jars. That way, each jar is going to be seasoned the same. Okay, I have 6 cups of cubed potatoes, 4 cups of diced celery, and 6 cups of carrots. I might have to increase the bowl size, but you know what? That'll be fine. Because you know what? I do have a bigger bowl inside. It's now time for me to stand up. Hold on a minute. Because I want to make sure I have room for all the ingredients to get mixed up really good. I should have room. It's just going to be a little tight. It's the same ingredients that you would put in regular stew, just a few extra ones that most people don't. And the liquid I'm going to put in the jars as after I have filled them. And it's going to be chicken broth. Really good. No, chicken bone stock. Let me get that straight. Okay. Now this would be regular, just plain chicken stew. Here's where we get a little interesting. I got one 14.5-ounce can of diced fire roasted tomatoes. Make sure you get it all out of there. And I have two 15-ounce cans of rolled gold or red gold diced and crushed tomatoes. Now, you don't have to use the same brand. Oh, it smells so good. Don't worry, I ain't done with that yet. I'll bring my spatula back out here. That way I can scrape those cans real good. And from the looks of it, I'm probably going to open some more tomatoes. That's okay, I got plenty. And if I do, y'all are going to be here for it as well. And I think I'm going to bring out my bigger mixing bowl too. Now you can add more. You can omit this. It's up to you. And you can use other different kinds because this is just original Rotel. And to give it just a little bit of a kiss and a little bit of heat. Now me, I'd probably put another can in there, but I don't want to burn Junior up. He used to like spicy. He doesn't eat much like he used to. But that's okay. I can always when I open it to heat it up, I can always add some hot sauce to mine. Oh, don't that look beautiful? Don't that look just absolutely beautiful? And I'm going to tell you, it smells divine. All right, I'm going to go in, get my jars, get everything ready. We're going to do some canning. I'll bring you back here in a bit. Okay, I have switched it to a bigger pan, and me being me, I prefer bigger, more chunks of tomatoes. So I'm going to add one more 14.5-ounce can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. And I will have all the ingredients that I used in the description box below the video. Now, after I switched it over to this bigger bowl, dish, whatever you want to call it, I cleaned and sanitized everything. I have my 7 wide mouth quart jars. If I remember right, I can get 8 regular mouth jars into the canner. It doesn't make any sense, but I'll be doing one batch that has 7 quarts in it. Now, if you're single, you could do this into 1 pint jars, and that way it'll go even further. But with what's coming down the pike, a quart jar is plenty of food for 2 people. I have my lids soaking in hot water. I have my bands. I have my funnel, canning funnel. I have my spoons. And if you have a problem with it too bad, tough titty, I'm using my chopstick. I have my apple cider vinegar to wipe the rims before I put the lids and bands on. I have some highly concentrated chicken bone stock, which I'm going to do when I finish filling the jars and I add the liquid. I'm going to add half water, half chicken bone stock, because I want to water this down some. I know it sounds weird, but I do. I don't want it to be overpowering. Now, my spices I'm going to be using is dehydrated minced garlic, ground black pepper, coarse sea salt, not much because the tomatoes and the rotel all have salt in it, smoked Spanish paprika, y'all, and cumin. And I'm gonna, whoa, wait, I knew I was forgetting something. Oh, oops. Man, I'm just kicking everything all around. And dried oregano. Give me a minute and we're going to get started. Okay, the struggle is real for space, I tell you. And before I get started, let me get a paper towel so I can do the wiping of the rims with vinegar. Okay, now you want to keep an eye on your spooning, because you want to make sure that you're getting a little bit of everything in there. If I thought I could get away with it, you know what I'd like to have in here also, which would be really delicious, is some black olives. But I don't know how well they can up. I have not used them in a mix. If you have canned a recipe that you added black olives to, please let me know, because that would be spectacular in here. Now, I'm not packing too hard, but I want to make sure that this jar has plenty in it. Okay, I'm not going to put my spices in at the top because they tend to not sink down into the jar, and I think next jar I'm going to put it a little bit lower. Okay. Okay. Half a tablespoon of oregano. Now I just want a hint of cumin, because cumin can get really strong, y'all. And that's a half of a teaspoon of cumin. I thought I'd open that before. Just wanting to be obstinate. And this is good Spanish smoked paprika. And I want a teaspoon of it per jar. And yep, you better believe it. I want a tablespoon. Nah. I'm going to do a half a tablespoon because I want to make sure I have enough to go in all the jars. And this is dehydrated minced garlic. And I want a half a teaspoon of that. Yes, I know. It's a lot of different measures. And I want a teaspoon of the coarse sea salt. Debubble and mix the spices all around. That paprika's going to make it nice and pretty. Almost swallowed wrong. And the rest, I want water. Up to the bottom of that first ring. Oh, this is going to be so good. I wish y'all could smell this. And what I always do is flip over the next jar so I can put my funnel in. Let's see. You want just to get just enough vinegar on your paper towel. You don't want it so saturated that it goes into what you're canning. Put your lid on. Put your pan just barely finger tight. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? We're going to put that there. And we're going to start on jar number 2. If you have to scratch your head, always use the back of your wrist. So that way you don't contaminate your fingers. Okay. No, that's what I need for the pepper. I don't know why I shut it back down. And that's a half a teaspoon of black pepper. You gotta remember, you have all these unseasoned vegetables in here, and you want them seasoned. 1 teaspoon of coarse sea salt, and never use iodized salt. Okay, because it'll make it cloudy and could really mess up your canning. Half a tablespoon of dehydrated minced garlic. Half a teaspoon of oregano. A teaspoon, and make sure you beat up any lumps, break them up. A teaspoon of good smoked Spanish paprika, and we're going to do a half a teaspoon of cumin. You want to have a little taste of cumin. It can become overpowering and no time flat, so you have to be careful. Big old giant air bubble right here. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. And always remember, air bubbles are not your friend. And see, in a survival situation, a jar of this heated up on top of rice, and you'll have an amazing meal. A very hearty meal. And this is what I'm talking about when I say food that will sustain you. You want to go through, make sure that there's no air bubbles at all. Oh, that looks so good. The shredded chicken looks a little weird, but it'll be fine. Just a little bit more liquid. There we go. And each time you wipe the rims, use a different place on the paper towel. But look at that. Does that just not look absolutely delicious? Homemade, y'all. Alright, I got 5 more. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Yep, here's it is. I'm not going to wait a minute now. I know I counted. Alright, I will bring you back as soon as I'm done filling these jars. See y'all here in a bit. Alright, got 7 quarts and some more done. So it's time to get these in the canner. And I'm going to move the camera and I'll bring y'all right back. I have 3 quarts in, 4 more to go. Alright. This is an all-American, so I have to oil the rim, which is a wonderful thing to stay away from gaskets. Of course, I gotta move the camera to get to my oil. And of course, to oil my rim, I use olive oil. I know some people, which I haven't figured out why, use petroleum products. No, thank you. Alright. My rim is oiled real good. My water's cold, my jars are cold, my canner's cold. I have the flame going underneath. Let's see, there's my arrow. Just till tight. Just till tight. And same with the last two. Then we're going to go back, tighten, tighten, tighten. Crank the heat up a little more, the flame. And you always want to make sure before you do this that your vent here, I can touch it now because it hasn't started yet, but that this vent you can see through and that it's clean. Alright, I will bring you back when she comes up to temp and we start venting. I'll see you here in a bit. You can't really see it, but there is a steady stream of steam coming out, and I'm going to let it vent for 10 minutes and I'll bring y'all back. Okay, it has been venting for 10 minutes and now I am going to put on, for my altitude, the 10-pound pressure weight, and I'm going to wait for this pressure dial to come up to 11 pounds of pressure and stay there steady, and I will bring you back. Love, love to pressure can. Okay, we are at a steady 11 pounds of pressure. You want to hear your weight dance every few seconds or so. You don't want it just going wild. You notice how it's taking its time and it's at 11 pounds of pressure. So I will see y'all back here in 90 minutes. Hey, thank gracious, it's been 90 minutes. I'm going to cut it off. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to let it depressurize naturally all by itself. And I'm going to bed. Because the sun is coming up. Everyone take care. I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning, y'all. When I say late night canning, I mean late night canning. I think I started around 11:30, finished about hair after 6:30 this morning. Then went to bed. That's why I said I was cutting the canner off and going to bed. It had finished its 90-minute cycle, and you better believe it. Walk away, forget it once it's cut off. Alright, it had naturally depressurized, and we're cold here today. Well, what I call cold because we've been warm. So I just let everything cool down in the canner. It's not going to hurt it a bit. Now, my jars look a little, kind of hazy a little bit because I've decided I'm going to quit adding vinegar to my water in the canner. Dawn dish soap will take the haze off. You're going to want to, once they've set up for 24 hours, they have completely all sealed, not hot, but a warm, sudsy bath. And you're going to want to use a good clean, like not a heavy duty scouring sponge, but you're going to want to give it a good bath. And, take your bands off, wash your bands as well, and then set them aside. You want to make sure that each of these lids are definitely secure. You're going to want to wash all around the rings and everything. Then you're going to let them dry. You're going to label them. But don't do that until after 24 hours has happened. And 7, it might not look beautiful because of the hazy jar, but big old mushroom right there. Look at that mushroom, some celery, onion. 7, beautiful Spanish inspired chicken stew, 7 quarts. That's food that will sustain you. You can pair that with rice or eat it like it is, either or. You can put it on top of creamed potatoes. Food that'll sustain you. Now, if you're single, you can do them in pints, and I think it's 60 minutes for pints. But you're going to want to make sure debubble and everything, and know what your poundage for your weight is for the pressure cooking. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. You can too. You just have to believe in yourself. Y'all quit being scared of those pressure canners. Read the instructions, follow the instructions. That's all you have to do. I absolutely love every time I get to fire up my pressure canner. It's an addiction, y'all. I'm telling you, it's an addiction. And to be able to put back food that has meat in it already, that's already seasoned. All you have to do is, once you open it, heat it up. You can do that in a skillet, a cast iron skillet, or a pot on a campfire. When it hits the fan, got food. And that's more than enough for 2 people. If you really had to space it out, pair it up with some rice, and that's plenty enough for 4 people. That's 4 cups in each quart jar. That's 4 1-cup servings for 4 people. Might not be how you're used to eating, but when it hits the fan, you're going to have to learn how to eat smaller portions. But simple, easy, Got some more to do, but you know, I'm a I'm a old school prepper. You get to see this much. I'm not showing you what all I'm doing. But after 24 hours, these babies are going to get a nice warm bubble bath, and then they're going to get dried off. They're going to get labeled and put away. It's what everybody needs to be doing with what's coming. Believe in yourself. You can do it. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Y'all stay safe and sound. Continue to stock those pantries with food that will sustain you and feed you and nourish you. Keep working on your medicine cabinets, your protection, and all the other things that you're going to need, fishing supplies and so on. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all soon, and may you each be blessed. Take care.